is guaranteed. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, lovely Alison.
Yeah,
I love you.
I love you too.
I love you. I'm kind of jealous of the fact you're wearing a hoodie because that's all I want to wear now that it's getting into the Tober months.
I'm willing
September
it.
months.
Yeah, the burr months.
That's what I meant.
The burr
The
months.
burr months.
I'm willing it to happen. I'm kind of hiding away under hoodies and hats.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm wearing my Mental Health Car Club hoodie.
Yay!
So shout out to them and shout out to Nathan who runs it.
Nathan.
Yes, it is so comfortable. I do kind of live in it when it's not too hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm willing the colder months to come now because I just feel more comfortable in like jeans and a hoodie and a hat.
Yeah,
I don't have to do my hair.
Yeah, absolutely. So the other night when I walked the dogs, I did actually put like a jacket on. I was like, oh my God.
Getting excited.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then literally like the next day it was really humid again. I was like, for goodness sakes. And that's when I got a migraine because the weather is so changeable.
It's bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit.
It's bullshit.
It is
weather.
bullshit. I call bullshit. Yeah, I'm kind of hiding away. I think keeping in line with like sort of our mental health chats that we've been having recently and stuff, things have been a bit difficult the last few weeks and they're kind of finally getting sorted, but it's just drained me and I just want comfort now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I found myself in a really difficult place, sort of familial discontent.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, and it got really rough for me. And it's just drained me completely. And I'll be honest with everyone that's listening and stuff, I actually sort of fessed up to Mark and you, and I was very honest with my therapist that at one point I wished it was me instead of my brother that wasn't here. And I didn't think I'd get to that sort of point again, but just everything.
And yeah, and it's like, obviously from my point of view, I'm very upset that you have been pushed to that point again, and it is really frustrating.
But like I said, you know, I'm very lucky that I have the best of friends, including you. Yes, you are family, but you are my best friend. And
you
Mark,
choose me as a friend.
I do. You know, and Mark is very supportive. He doesn't always understand and things like that, so he can't empathise, but he can sympathise.
Yeah.
He knows what to do. And, you know, Alex and Mikey.
We're the Alex and Mikey fan club, aren't we?
They
we love them.
The best people in the world.
They really are.
And, you know, you've all been lifelines for me. And therapy has actually stopped now. I've run out of my sessions and I can't re-refer for another 6 weeks.
That's so annoying.
You know, when I said to him, do you think I need more? He said, yeah, because we never actually got to talk about the reason why you started therapy again, because something else happened. And that took up all the time.
He can't say, we need to continue this and it can continue straight on.
It's NHS.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Like, that makes no sense whatsoever.
It doesn't at all. So, you know, when those things are thrown into mix, people who are on the edge are going to think, well, for fuck's sake, I've now got to deal with this by myself for 6 weeks.
Yeah, you need the help now.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you then have to wait 6 weeks for to self-refer again, it might not be as long as you get in the help that you did initially. Mm-hmm. It could be a bit quicker, but it's still time wasted.
There's still a delay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm out of that mindset. I'm just very drained at the moment. I have no energy. So if I sound a bit sort of meh, or look a bit
She's
meh,
not gone method.
I have, no. Just
Not method acting today.
No, but my face is healing, which is good.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, your face is healed really, really well.
You can see it in certain lights and stuff, and there's still the darkness of it. But I got really fed up. There was one stitch that wasn't coming out, so I cut it out.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you know your own skin, don't you? So
yeah, and it was literally I cut it, and the whole thing just kind of pulled out, so it was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'm going to be on a bit more of an upwards trajectory.
I can't say that. I can't say it.
Yeah.
Trajectory.
Trajectory.
Jeffs.
So that's where I'm at. It's been rough, but there is a kind of a new light.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, that's good.
Yeah, how about you?
Well, so I'm kind of saving stuff for spooky chat.
Okay. I've actually got a couple of spooky things to talk about.
Amazing.
No, for once.
And I have got a random fact at the end of today's chat that will cover all of us if you want it to. If you can't think of one.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I just thought I don't actually have... Yes, I do have one because I wrote 2 down. We had a conversation on the phone and I was like, oh, I remember. And you were like,
done.
write it down.
Write it down now.
My notes have gone off. How do I get them back?
Is it recognising your
there we
face?
go.
Do you need a
No,
code?
I just... Oh, there we go.
So, well, this is a continuation of a case, isn't it? So, part 2 of...
Damn, Tess.
Yeah. So, if you haven't listened to the first one, go and listen to others. This will make no sense whatsoever.
I'll do a quick recap. So, young girl, very close with her mother, sort of hit her teenage years, was no longer close with her mother. They were fighting a lot. She said her mum was an alcoholic. There's no real proof of the alcoholism and things like that, but she started like acting up, etc. She met a lad. They wanted this perfect dream life. They wanted to move into a house together. And the only way they thought they could do that was to get the money from Linda's house. And the way they could do that would be by killing her.
Because that's, the obvious choice.
Yeah, I mean, instantly that's where my mind goes.
Fucking people.
That's a lie, obviously.
Yeah. We are joking.
So, I think at the end of the last episode, it was they were travelling back from IHOP, where they'd been discussing the murder. There was Tess, her boyfriend Brian, and their friend Jared, who wasn't very well liked, but he was still part of the group. And Tess had been on the phone to her mum and they'd been arguing and things like that. And supposedly Linda said to Tess, Brian has to move out. And that's kind of what sealed her fate. So picture this. They pull into the driveway. Brian turns to Tess with a chilling question. Should I take care of your mother? Oh my God. Tess says yes, but then quickly adds she doesn't want to be there when it happens. Rather convenient, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Because what does that equal? Plausible deniability.
Okay, right.
So she's not really thinking of Brian.
No,
not
at all.
But she does hint. But the fact that she doesn't want to be there, yes, it's plausible. It's to me, it sounds like plausible deniability. But is there also a hint at some sort of deeper emotion on Tessa's part, like maybe guilt, hesitation, that kind of thing? You just don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You don't know what's going through their head. You can only surmise, can't you? And the thing is, we're not murderers, so we're never going to make sense of something like this.
No, and not every aspect of the investigational interviews come out. Like I haven't seen police interviews or anything like that. So Brian gives Tess a kiss and heads up into the house. Meanwhile, Tess and Jared, they crank the music up in the car and they drive off. It's kind of like drowning out what's about to happen, about to go into. Oh fuck me.
I know
about
what you mean.
to happen. Yeah.
You're okay.
Thank you. So this is how things supposedly went down. Brian enters the house, casually asks Linda, Tess's mum, to grab something from Tess's room. I think it was like a remote control. Very fucking random. Or, either way, it was a harmless object. Linda heads in and Brian follows, but then he locks the door. Panic starts to set in for Linda. And it's about to get worse.
Oh my God, I just got chills. I'm so scared.
In his confession, Brian admits he tried to strangle Linda but couldn't quite manage it. So I think people are, you see on TV someone's got their hands around your neck for like 30 seconds and that's it. It takes a bit longer. It takes a lot of fucking force. So, again, this is why I ruin TV shows for people. So he switches tactics and he tries to slit her throat, but the knife gets stuck. So I think not slit her throat. I think he tries to stab her in the neck,
right? And
the knife gets stuck.
Oh my God.
So then he gets a call from Tess wondering what's taking so long. So Brian says, "Fuck this." He goes and grabs another knife, goes back, and this time he finishes the job. He stabs Linda in the neck, and she dies.
That poor woman.
Brian later tries to spin a story claiming that a fight broke out between him and Linda. He says he killed her because she allegedly said she wished Tess had never been born, that she wouldn't have to deal with a black boyfriend hanging around the house. But even if that were true, let's be real, it doesn't justify murder.
No, exactly. Exactly. That doesn't equal, oh, all right then.
Yeah. Okay, fucking let him off the hook. Don't get me wrong, I do not agree with racism at all.
No, not at all.
But you don't murder someone.
No.
And it's a lie anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's very unlikely. I mean, we don't know, but it seems unlikely she would have said that anyway. But...
Yeah. And anyway, Tess had already given him the green light before they got out of the car, so it was premeditated.
Yeah, exactly.
Pure and simple. Problem is that now they have a body. And despite all of their planning, they kind of hadn't thought through what to do with the most damning piece of evidence, which is, of course, the body.
The rather large piece of evidence.
What do you think it's going to do? Just poof.
Yeah, bye.
Oh dear.
Don't worry, the fairies have come and taken it away.
No, it doesn't happen that way. So Brian, Tess and Jared, they're left figuring out what to do next. After Tess and Jared return, Brian tells Jared he needs help moving the body. But Jared, in a moment of panic, says, "Dude, leave me out of it. I don't want to be included in this." Bit late for that, really, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're all sat at IHOP. Yeah, apparently he wasn't really having much involvement with he wasn't masterminding or anything like that. But he was staying there for the conversations. He was suggesting things. And he returns and he's now part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You've always been a part of it the entire way along. But Brian reminds Jared that he's already in too deep. So instead of running to the police, Jared gives in. They wrap Linda and the murder weapon in a blanket, and with Jared supposedly closing his eyes, shove her into the trunk of her light blue Subaru.
What's closing his eyes going to do?
I mean, I'm not being funny. You're carrying a fucking body that's wrapped up in a blanket.
Yes.
Was he walking forwards, backwards? It doesn't matter. You can't see where you're fucking going. He would...
It sounds like a cartoon.
Fucking Benny Hill music. Going,
right. Exactly.
Yeah, mate, your eyes were not closed.
Wow.
So what do they do next? They get high and they watch a movie together.
Right.
So
at this stage, the body's in the boot of the car, but they haven't actually gotten rid of it, have they?
No.
It's just, they've just gone, we've moved it for now, let's go watch some telly.
Yeah, and get high,
Okay.
Just another night in front of the TV after committing murder. As you do. So, other Jared, the one that sort of was brought to Colorado under similar circumstances as Brian's, the one that Brian probably would consider his best friend. Mm-hmm. Brian told other Jared that one night Tess called him in a panic, claiming that her mum Linda, drunk out of her mind, was chasing her around the house. Brian says he rushed over and found Linda choking Tess. In a heroic moment, straight out of the movie, Brian claims he threw Linda off Tess, but that wasn't the end of it. Linda, allegedly deranged, grabbed a knife and came at Brian. In this supposed act of self-defence, Brian says he managed to disarm Linda and kill her, saving both himself and Tess.
Right.
Slightly delusional.
Yeah.
But other Jared wasn't buying it. He smelled bullshit from a mile away. So... in a so-called stroke of genius, they decided to show other Jared Linda's body.
What?
Thus involving him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What a fucked up scenario.
I know. He didn't believe it? Well, we'll show you.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll show you the dead person. What the fuck?
I mean, the more people you bring into something, the more dangerous it is to, that shit's going to get out. Blah, 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 blah.
Someone's
People are
gonna
going to feel
say
guilt,
yeah,
etc. I mean, I'm not saying you should go out and murder someone and keep it to yourself. One, don't go out and murder people.
No, don't do that.
Just don't. So, but I mean, he was kind of a semi-decent human being, so he pleaded with Brian to turn himself in. But Brian, of course, refused. It was clear that it wasn't some act of self-defence, but somehow Brian managed to rope other Jared into helping him dispose of Linda's body. These are teenagers, they don't think straight. They're best friends. It's like, shit, I need to help him. No offence. You're dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. For fuck's sake.
So now Linda's dead, obviously.
Poor Linda.
And Tess suddenly decides it's time to get her hands dirty. So obviously she wasn't the one to wield the knife. Mm-hmm. She didn't take Linda's life, but okay, at this point, okay, I'm going to have to be semi-involved somehow. They needed to figure out the best place to get rid of Linda's body. And as with everything else in this saga, they were absolutely terrible at it. Their first brilliant idea was to dump Linda's body at a local landfill. They crammed her, obviously, into the trunk of her own car, the light blue Subaru, and they headed off to Erie Landfill, which is a great name. Very
It's
fitting.
actually called Erie Landfill.
Supposedly, yeah. But it was the middle of the night, so the landfill was closed.
For fuck's sake.
And they got stuck in mud.
Oh, no.
Do you remember when we got stuck in mud?
At the gig, yeah.
Yeah, the last feeder gig that we went to.
At least we weren't trying to dispose of a body. We were just being...
Tractor, bless him, he was on his way home. He'd helped so many people and then decided to help us sort of before he went off. And then as he was pulling us out, some dude got out of his car and was like, oh, can you help? He's like, no, I'm going home now. So we were very fucking lucky.
Very fucking lucky. Yeah, it was a sign of the times, and it had rained quite a bit, but it seemed like the amount of shit that was surrounding us, it looked like it had rained for 3 weeks.
It's like a mudslide.
It really was.
And we were not wearing the right shoes.
Oh, no.
You were. You were sensible.
Yeah, Goobs was.
I changed my mind at the last minute and decided to not wear sensible footwear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still haven't cleaned my shoes properly. I really need to do that.
Not?
No. I've washed them, but they're not clean.
I've got like it's like a fucking crevice in the toe part of mine now.
Oh.
But they are clean, so that's the main thing.
Okay.
I think I did it when I was walking around something, but Mark managed to clean my shoes. He got the pressure washer on them, and then we stuck them in the... I stuck them in a pillowcase and put them in the washing machine. Yeah. It worked, so I'm happy. So defeated, they drove back home and they parked the car in the garage with Linda still inside. They sort of discussed what to do next. And I don't know, I think it was like a few days after or something. They then thought, we know we'll take her to a local cemetery. So they guess, let's just bury her amongst other bodies. It's not going to look too suspicious. Nay.
These are a bunch of absolute geniuses, these people.
Honestly, they haven't watched enough true crime.
No.
Not like us.
No.
Fucking experts. It was February in Colorado, so the ground was frozen solid. The boys tried digging a grave, but only managed a very shallow hole. They dragged Linda out of the car. Tess watched him from the sidelines, claiming she was too squeamish to help. Again, convenient.
Yeah, fucking bitch.
Yeah, this was all basically her idea, and she's having nothing to do with that.
My hand's dirty though. Mm-hmm. Fuck.
So they thought they saw a patrolman cruising by, so in a panic they bolted, leaving the shallow grave barely concealing Linda's body. After dropping Jared off home, Tess and Brian realised just how obvious their attempt at burial had been. So they went back, recovered Linda's body and stuffed her back into the car.
For fuck's sake.
This poor woman, like, if you think they couldn't make it any worse, but it just seems to be getting worse. Like, you've already killed her.
They're morons.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And now they're, like, just chucking her about, like
she doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, like a rag doll, essentially.
Jesus.
So they drove home, and Linda spent yet another night in the garage. For a brief time, Tess and Brian seemed to settle into the life they had been dreaming of. Brian went to Florida with his dad, keeping in touch with Tess through text. Tess playing the role of Rolf. Tess playing the role of wifey, claiming she was busy doing laundry. Though it seems the only washing she did was cleaning Brian's bloody clothes and burning the bloodstained sheets in the backyard. They partied, they got high, and spent around $4,000 using Linda's credit card.
Fuck.
Again, the evidence, mate.
They're just not thinking anything through, are they?
No. But as you can probably guess, love's young dream didn't last. They fought constantly, and it seemed Tess enjoyed the drama. She even pushed Brian to quit smoking, which wasn't going well. After just 3 weeks, their toxic relationship hit a breaking point, and Brian stormed out of the house. And then this is where everything starts to unravel a bit more. Tess took to a very public MySpace diary once again to vent her frustrations. She wrote, and I quote, So how hard is it to keep a simple promise like that? How hard is it not to smoke for a little bit of time? I mean, I can tell you it is quite hard.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about my dirty habits, but I've been smoking since I was 15. Basically 20 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much he smoked, but yeah. Once that's a habit, that's hard to kick. But yeah, like I said, enough about my dirty habits. Tess continued, how hard is it to suck it up around your friends and just tell them you're not going to smoke? It seems like she's trying to control.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, obviously smoking is bad for you. You shouldn't smoke.
But also, why is she worrying about that when her mother's dead?
Like, she just casually kept in the
What
garage,
the fuck?
decomposing.
Yeah.
You know, I think that would be...
Worry about that.
Yeah. That's,
Worry about your soul, lady.
you're going to hell.
'Cause
God will not have mercy on your soul.
No.
Yeah, it's just baffling. Like, that's what I would be concerned with, because, you know, decomposing bodies, there are signs. Smell.
And also, you know, it's little things like, okay, they've spent $4,000 on the credit card. Well, someone's got to pay for that.
Yeah.
Someone's going to notice her mum's not around. It's just...
And that's not being, you know, paid for.
Yeah. Like, what?
But they're teenagers. They're, you know, they're in love.
Just not thinking about...
They're just not
Reality.
smart. Their brains haven't fully developed yet.
Clearly.
I mean, there are adults that don't know how to do this shit, thank God.
Yeah.
But, you know, even adults don't always think of... It's always a silly mistake that, you know, ones that have been going for years, like serial killers and stuff like that. There's always a silly mistake.
Yeah.
You know, some of like the highway killers and things like that. Not the one that we did, but like sort of the long haul lorry drivers. Someone got caught because his tail light was out and he had a victim in the back and they were screaming.
Yeah.
And he got pulled over. So it's just stupid.
Yeah.
So this rant wasn't just a vent. She knew Brian would see it. And she went on to say, let's talk about this fighting every day. It's just getting ridiculous by now. See, I don't understand how two people who are in love can have so many fights in one day. We fight over everything. And don't tell me that we don't, because you know as well as I do that we both get really pissed off really easily. But I don't see how we can fight over such stupid things like cell phones and who can take the car.
Is this all still on MySpace?
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
I know.
Just message him that. Why did she have to put it on MySpace?
Well, she loved it. She loved airing everything on MySpace.
Clearly, yeah. She just wants
You know,
attention.
she put all about her mother and alcoholism over there and, you know, bearing her soul and blah, blah, blah. So there is trouble in paradise. Tess wasn't holding back. She also criticised Brian for walking out during their fights to hang out with his friends. I'm done giving you money to buy cigarettes. I'm no longer just your money source, she wrote. So this was on February 24th.
How old were they?
She was 16 at this point, I think.
Fucking concerned about shit like that for.
So naturally, Brian responded, but instead of matching her anger, he was apologetic. I have no excuse for anything I do. I truly don't. And if you know how I feel about a lot. The thing is, I'm stupid. I mean, if the shoe fits. If I were to change most of my habits, we wouldn't be in this mess. I'm sorry for everything, but I just want to say I love you. Again, this is over MySpace. And Tessa's response wasn't so forgiving. She said, is that going to be your excuse for everything? That you're stupid or that you're retarded?
Oh, shit. And this is all just like a public argument on MySpace.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I mean, she's not a nice person.
No.
Aside from the fact that she wanted to kill her mum. And then she's calling him retarded. Yeah.
It doesn't sound like the healthiest relationship, that's for sure.
No. That's real love right there.
Fucking hell.
That's what I do when, you know, I tell Mark that I love him. I call him stupid.
Yeah.
Clearly.
That's how to treat someone you love, isn't it?
She then ranted about how if he just started fixing things, he wouldn't need to make up gay little excuses. For fuck's sake. Because there was a time, wasn't there, where people to insult, you'd call someone gay or say your behaviour's gay or what have you.
So this was of the time, wasn't it?
So of the
Sadly,
time, yeah. But she's just a twat. And then she ended it with, whatever, I'm done.
Whatever, though.
Whatevs, Trevs.
Whatever, though.
Yeah.
Listen, Goobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Wow. Still. Fucking hell.
She just annoys me. I'm so annoyed. I mean, I hate teenagers as it is. I really do. There's just like literally no respect. Like working in the library, like if it was the school holidays, kids get bored, or after school, specifically on a Thursday when it was open till like 7.
Yeah.
You get the kids coming in their groups from school, and they know they can get away with anything. You can't do shit.
Yeah.
But I would get so angry and so frustrated with them that I would sink to their level.
Oh, no.
So I wasn't allowed to deal with them.
Ali was banned from dealing with the
I was banned
teenagers.
from dealing with the teenagers. I fucking hate them with a passion. I know I was a teenager once and I was a shitbag.
Oh, I was an absolute dick.
But, I wouldn't hang around. Like, I had a conscience and I still knew, like, I had respect. I wouldn't be fucking hanging around in a library, like, shouting bogies and crushing quavers into, like, the carpets.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Or they would just run around as well, and I just wanted to push them down the stairs.
Oh no.
Yeah, apparently bogies is still a thing. Or it's actually developed into penis.
What, just yelling it?
Yeah. Penis! Like, cunt!
Oh my God.
No, that was me. No, I'm joking. I didn't shout cunt in the library.
Goose wants to play that game.
No, we're not playing that game.
I'll play with you. We'll go. Where should we go and shout? Just like
If you go to the library,
Sainsbury's. No, we'll go to Sainsbury's and we'll just like go to different aisles and just yell it. All right. Sorry,
I'm not
Alice.
going to be a part of that.
You don't have to be. We'll get you a cake and we'll sit down with a coffee and we'll go and play that game.
Okay. I'm really happy with that. Yeah.
Fine. There we go.
Yeah, so apologies to people who own teenagers. I'm just not a fan.
Or who are teenagers. You never know. There might be.
Or teenagers listening to us, yeah.
I mean...
They've just turned into right shitbags, and it's because they can't be disciplined properly anymore. And they just don't listen.
I was just about to say,
Yeah, not all teenagers. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, the girl that looks after the poochies, she's lovely.
Oh yeah, she's really.
I've not met her, but you say she's lovely. And the guy from Expel, his daughter is really lovely.
Oh yeah, she
Yeah.
was lovely. By the way, Mark wants it to be known that he was a delight as a teenager.
It's just as an adult, it's not. He's not.
That's not very nice, is it?
To be fair, he said he was annoying himself and giving himself a headache earlier because he was being
What were you doing?
His usual.
Just being sarcastic, etc.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He's like, I'm giving myself a headache.
In his new car.
Yeah, that was a thing. But he did realise, yeah. And
Okay.
that's, the first step is admitting it.
This is true. And he did stop.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not tarring all teenagers with the same brush. It's just the majority of the ones, not all of them, that went into libraries. And then we'd have the really young kids that were so into books, and they'd come up and be like, oh, have you got this one? Can you recommend this? And they're really into it and stuff. And you just got them like fucking hanging out in the toilets and running around and being boisterous and swearing. And
I have to say,
Just
I
being disruptive.
never went and hung out in a library when I was a teenager and like being naughty anyway.
I was getting pissed on the school field.
Exactly. So why were they in the library?
You think
doing
you're
that?
hardcore shouting penis in a library, mate?
Go and sit on a field and drink hooch. Well, don't do that. But that's what we did. Well, I'm older, so that's what I did. Was sit on the
did that
cricket
as well.
field and drink hooch, and 2020 and 2 dogs and
Frosty Jacks.
fucking Strongbow
Frosty Jacks with blackcurrant.
and White Lightning. Yeah, I would never have elected to go and hang out in a library. I'd rather be outside.
What do you think you're achieving by doing that?
I don't know.
Am I being that old?
I don't think so.
This is I was having a conversation with Alex the other day because I haven't been to the gym in a long time.
Did you used to go to
I
the gym?
did, yeah. I had a lot of dental work done that caused me problems. Then I had the injury to my face, and I was just, I was on a downer. Mm-hmm. I was spiraling quite rapidly, and I just, yeah. But the big problem is that from now working, sort of 45 minutes away, the gym didn't open early enough, so I couldn't go in the mornings. I'd have to go after work. By which point, you've got all the fucking teenagers there, and there's big groups of them. They're all hanging around a machine. They're all taking it in turns. but their rest periods are about fucking 15 minutes long because they're having a conversation and they're all just posing in the mirrors and things like that, and they're not doing the workout. You get so many people that just want to crack on and do their workout, but you can't get on the machines that you want to use, and you follow a program because that's how you build muscle, that's, you know, etc., etc. But you've got fucking Braden, Hayden and Jaden, all with their perms, because that's a fucking thing now. They look like
for fuck's
cube
sake.
heads. Just...
Again, when I was a teenager, I did not hang out at gyms.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Go to the fucking gym. Have a social. But don't take up 3 fucking hours.
Yeah, and please don't get your hair perm. Like, no good can
It
come
just
of
looks
that.
like pubic hair. Someone's just fucking cut it off and stuck it on.
Well, the boys or the girls?
The boys. It's a thing now.
Okay, I feel like, when was the last time boys permed their hair? The 80s?
Yes.
Because they certainly weren't doing it in the 90s.
No.
There was
That's
curtains.
frosted tips.
Frosted tips and curtains in the 90s.
And the 2000s weren't anything like that. I mean, they're still in the 2000s, but...
I mean, I don't want a boyfriend who has permed hair.
It looks like they're just all cloned.
Right.
And the conversation I had with Alex, we were just fucking laughing. And I sound so old. Fucking teenagers these days. But you know what? I'm here for it. I know what I like now.
Listen, this is our platform. You say what you like, love.
I don't like teenagers.
Okay. Okay.
That fucking My Chemical Romance song, Teenagers, that I've just got playing in my head constantly.
Oh, yeah. I like that song.
Yeah. Do you know what? I wasn't a massive fan of My Chemical Romance for a long time. But then when I heard that, I was like, I'm going to go back and re-listen to them because they are a staple of my teenage years. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate them more as an adult. I was like that with Paramore as well. Okay. When Paramore come out, I didn't like them. I think the first time I saw them was at like Give It a Name Fest in 2006. And I was like, eh.
Meh.
And then as an adult, I mean, the new stuff, absolutely fucking not. But the old stuff, yeah.
Okay.
That was a really big tangent.
That's fine.
Sorry.
That's just what we do.
Yeah.
It's us. We should just call the podcast One Big Tangent.
Yeah. The grumpy old women's tangent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Main point of that, don't be disruptive in places like libraries, and
don't get your hair permed.
Don't get your hair permed and take up every fucking machine in the gym.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I found a new gym that I can go in the morning. It's open 24 hours.
Oh, amazing.
It's on the way to work.
Oh, perfect.
So I can go more often.
Yay.
I just have to get used to getting up.
And then you can start sort of things with, when I was at the gym.
Again.
Yeah. So we'll bring that back.
Yeah.
Amazing. Love that.
Gymscapades. Valley. Where was I?
Don't know. They were airing their dirty laundry on MySpace and just having arguments between themselves, but in front of everyone.
Yeah. But they made up, because that's what those two do. Brian promised to do better, but honestly he's exhausted just trying to keep up with their drama.
Lots of drama.
Now, Brian, the tortured soul that he is, started posting cryptic messages. Things like, I did things I shouldn't have with my 2 hands. I just want to drink a barrel of cyanide to make the pain go away. Or, even better, you could confess.
Yeah, and we said this on the first part of this episode. And I just hate those cryptic fucking messages, because all they want is someone to go, oh no, are you okay, hon? What's going on? It's like, fuck off.
Can't say in here, hun. DM me, hun. Message me, hun. Private message me, hun.
I just don't want to talk about it. Well, don't talk about it then.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Or in his case, go and tell the fucking police, you dickhead.
That would make the pain go away.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, honesty. Be truthful. Just own up. Fess up, bitch.
What a carry on.
Yes. But not of the good movie kind.
No.
But anyway, it's it's easy to read those posts, and there may be some people that would think that he felt some remorse, but words are easy. Without action, it's just shallow talk. Exactly. I'm not saying drink the barrel of cyanide. It's more a case of just turn yourself in.
Confess, dickhead.
Yeah. So meanwhile, people were starting to notice Linda's absence, funnily enough.
I was wondering when that would happen, because she's missing now.
People around the neighbourhood, they're not seeing her. Mm-hmm. They're not hearing Tess screaming at her, that kind of thing. Neighbours they were used to seeing a well-kept home saw it turn into a party house. Family were noticing, Tessa's friends noticed. But their excuse was that Linda was out of town, and somehow that seemed to satisfy everyone who asked. But then, despite the freezing cold temperatures, the garage began to smell.
Ugh.
And that's when they decided Linda's body had to go.
Surely, and you would know, I would think the answer to this, once a body starts decomposing in the boot of a car, how the hell are you going to get rid of that smell? Like, can you even get rid of that smell?
A lot of fucking chemicals.
Yeah, I mean,
it would take a lot of chemicals.
Rip out the interior, bleach everything.
To be honest with you as well, with putrefaction, the body's going to start leaking. So
it's going to get into everywhere.
Literally, you would just need to scrap it.
Fuck.
I think, personally. Depends, you know. It depends
how
how cold it is in there as well, because temperature plays a big thing, a big part. But yeah, decomposition, there's smell, there's leaking, there's going to be, you know, if there's bugs in there, things like that. So there'd be no point keeping it. That shit's ruined.
Fucking get rid of crush it.
Yeah.
Fucking crush it, mate.
Well, I mean, they tried with the landfill. Well, not crushing, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, just no. People
just don't do it in the first place.
Don't do it in the first place.
Tell you what, don't do that.
So they planned a road trip to Wyoming to... Why did I say it like that?
I don't know, but everyone should say it like that from now on.
Wyoming. Wyoming. To dispose of her. Our American listener is just going to be like, oh, fuck me.
What are they doing now?
This is just distasteful and heathen behaviour. But here's where things take a turn. So at around 10:15 p.m. on February the 27th, an anonymous tip came into the police department. A friend who knew about the murder, well, I think it was a friend that knew about the murder, i.e. Jared.
Okay, one of the Jareds.
Yes, I would say probably Jared Guy.
Okay.
Decided to come forward. They gave the authorities details about the murder, the plan to get rid of Linda's body, and made it clear it wasn't self-defence. Brian had killed Linda. The caller even directed the police to check the car. No, not check the car. To, you know, they couldn't give the exact address, but they could direct them to where the house was.
Okay.
So it was like a description of the location. It was never reported who made that call, but I think it was Jared Guy, or perhaps he confided in a parent, whoever it was. Thank God they made the call.
Yeah,
anyway.
Absolutely.
So on the afternoon of February the 28th, the police arrived at the house and found Tess, Brian and Jared Smith just hanging out. When questioned, Tess and Brian claimed they lived together at the residence and repeated the same lie, that Linda was out of town. But they couldn't say where she was or when she'd be back, only that she'd show up at some point. But we all know Linda wasn't coming back, and the truth was about to catch up with them.
Shit.
So the police showed up for what was essentially a wellness check. They weren't just going to take the word of three teenagers and walk away. They needed some real confirmation that Linda was okay, so essentially some sort of contact with her or proof that she was somewhere, etc.
Yeah.
So they weren't leaving until they got it. And it didn't take long for them to literally pick up the scent of something foul, if you get my drift.
Ew.
So they decided it was time to haul these teenagers down to the station, and Jared Guy was brought in a few days later. So they discovered Linda.
So they did find her?
Yeah.
Right, okay, wow.
And yeah, these three were just hauled down to the station for questioning. It didn't take long for Brian to crack. And to be fair, he wasn't really in a position to sort of deny anything anyway.
Yeah, I don't feel like he would have had a leg to
it's
stand
like,
on.
you know, ding, ding, ding. Here we are. There's a body in the boot of the car in the garage. It is Tess's mum.
Fucking, there it is.
There it is.
Jeez.
In fucking flashing neon lights.
Yeah.
He told investigators that if he could see Tess one more time, he'd spill everything. So they let him and Tess see each other, and true to his word, Brian did confess. He was charged with first-degree murder, but somehow, who knows how, he managed to strike a plea deal. When asked in court if he was guilty of second-degree murder, Brian said yes. Before his sentencing, Brian was allowed to make a statement, and he delivered what can only be described as a Shakespearean monologue. I apologise for the pain and tears and grief I caused. I lay myself at your mercy and ask for it.
Where the fuck did that come from? I wouldn't have expected that to come from him.
Just, you know, his weird tortured soul ramblings on MySpace.
Yeah,
He's got lots of practice.
He's had practice, yeah.
Yeah. He's like fucking writing a play set in 1542.
Via MySpace.
So, does it sound like he's finally feeling some remorse? Maybe, but let's be real, it's probably more about regret than actual remorse.
Yeah, it sounds like it, because he didn't confess without being prompted.
Yeah, he got caught.
Yeah.
And he's sorry he got caught.
Exactly.
So the happy ending with Tess didn't pan out, and now he was trying to play the part of the repentant gentleman. Or maybe it was a last-ditch attempt to evoke some sort of sympathy from the court.
Yes.
But where's Darius and all of this? Do you remember Darius, his alter ego?
Not the singer off of...
No, not...
What was
Pop Idol.
Pop Idol, that was it.
Yeah.
I was trying to think which one it was.
Mark's probably got fucking colourblind singing, going around in his head.
Yeah,
now. Yeah, of course he has. You think he would pop up in this kind of situation, wouldn't you? But no. This, when he's under stressful times or what have you, whenever Darius is supposed to come out, nowhere to be seen. So ultimately, Brian Grove was sentenced to 20 to 40 years and is eligible for parole in 2032. But an interesting twist, though he never ratted out the he never ratted out the Jareds.
Right.
So friendship meant a lot to him. I'm guessing. It was Tess. Naturally, of course she did. She's trying to get it all away from her.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
She also threw Brian under the bus, claiming he acted entirely on his own and that she knew nothing about his plans. Teenagers, am I right?
You're right, mate.
It's just fucking fickle.
I mean, and a lot of people say this on true crime sort of documentaries, podcasts, all the things. It's hard enough to get your head around the fact that one of these people exists, but the fact that they find each other and go, yeah, this is a fucking good idea.
Right?
What?
It's, especially the ones that are really fucking sick and twisted. Mm-hmm. And somehow, look at Brian, Brian something or other, I can't remember his surname, and Carla Homolka, the Ken and Barbie killers.
Oh, yeah.
And the sister and all of that lot.
Yeah, again, how the fuck do they find each other?
Yeah.
Like
Fred and Rose West.
Yeah. Well, there's so many, isn't there?
Yeah.
So many. It's
and, you get like that's it, Paul Bernardo. Not Brian.
Bernardo.
I'm talking about Brian. Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka.
Yeah.
But it's, it's even like when you get groups of them acting together.
Yeah.
Like when I was talking about the Freeway Killers.
Yeah. Yes.
And stuff like that. It's just, it's insane.
I think that's the thing. Like, these crimes are scary. And then you get this sort of thing where it's like, hang on a minute. It's not just one of these people. There's several of them. And it's just like, what happened? How were you like that? Fucking mystery, mate. Absolute mystery.
Absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would happily use violence on people that are trying to fucking suck the soul out of you for your artwork.
Yeah. Thanks, doll. Thank you.
But I wouldn't kill them.
No.
I'd just maim.
Just some maiming.
Just some light maiming.
Just some light maiming.
It's because I'm fierce.
Well, that's it.
For you.
But, in all seriousness, like, self-defense is something else. But that is
completely
that
different.
is, premeditated crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So obviously Tess thought, he made a plea deal. I think because of the age thing, he pled guilty maybe to second degree murder as a minor. Or he would have done, I'm going to guess, sort of first degree murder as a minor, or it would have been second degree murder as an adult, perhaps. I'm going to guess. I mean, I do talk about sort of the sentencing a bit more, I think. I can't quite remember. I wrote these notes a little while ago. Mm-hmm. I was a bit too on it. This with my hand. Obviously, Tess thought she was quite clever, but she wasn't. So the phone call she made to Brian on the night of Linda's murder, asking what was taking so long, didn't support her claims of innocence. They would have had phone records.
Yeah.
And then there were the confessions from the Jareds that contradicted her story as well. That's two of them. Whether Brian said anything as well, don't know. But in the end, Tess was tried as an adult and charged with first-degree murder and solicitation to commit murder. But like Brian, she also struck a plea deal. She admitted guilt to second-degree murder as a juvenile and solicitation of murder as an adult. She was sentenced to just 23 years. And the first 5 years were served in the juvenile system and the rest would be served in an adult facility. So the juvie system, you might think sort of the length of time a kid spends in juvie has to do with money, but it doesn't. It's twice as expensive for a kid to go through the juvenile system than the adult one.
Oh.
And the reason for this is because the juvenile system is tailored specifically to children and is heavily focused on rehabilitation.
Right, okay.
So they assume kids are more malleable than adults and have a better chance of turning their lives around after release.
Right.
Whether Tess or Brian can truly turn their lives around, that's something only time will tell. I mean, like I said, it could be just cynic in me, again, like with the whole teenager thing, but you shouldn't assume, because what does assuming do? It makes an ass out of you and me. Such a classic.
It really is.
So, yeah, it's costly, but it's designed that way on purpose. Kids in the system, they get intensive counselling, education and rehabilitative services aimed at reintegrating them back into society.
Yeah.
So the idea is to turn things around before it's too late.
Yeah.
So while adult prisons do have some, here we go again, rehabilitative programs. I can't do it.
That's fine.
Can't do it. They're usually sort of tacked on during the first few... or first years or last years or the sentence.
Okay.
So the main focus in adult facilities isn't necessarily on educational therapy. You know, this is the American system.
Yeah.
So it's different to here. For starters, guards have guns.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
And we get fucked over if we use a baton in self-defense.
Just doesn't make any sense, but okay.
Yeah. So the main focus in adult facilities isn't necessarily on educational therapy. It's generally seen as a bad idea to house kids in adult prisons if there's any way around it as well, which you can get.
Yeah.
So about Tess, she was convicted at 17, and despite that, she somehow believed she was still entitled to her inheritance.
Oh my God.
So, but thanks to the Slayer law, which is what it's actually called.
Wow.
She couldn't touch it, and honestly...
Good.
You think she would know better, but nope, she appealed, and unsurprisingly, her appeal was denied. But she didn't know when to quit. While she was at the Betty Marla Service Centre in Denver, she decided to plan an escape. The plan was to strangle a guard with a shoelace, steal his keys, lock him up, and then make a run for it. Needless to say, the plan failed miserably, and at that point, the Colorado Attorney General's office thought it was high time to transfer Tess from juvie to an adult prison. She was over 18, had incited a riot. She'd blown her last chance.
Is there anything in your notes about like a mental health assessment with her?
No.
Okay. I'm just going to do like my armchair diagnosis. It's her behaviour sounds quite sociopathic.
Yeah.
That's just me surmising, of course.
Naturally. But yeah, you think there probably was.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing nothing came of it.
Yeah.
Was it, she had this, like, BPD or something like that. I don't know. Or, she's diagnosed sociopath. So despite everything, the juvenile court did decide to keep her in the juvie system.
Really?
The hearing was under the Children's Code, which keeps things pretty hush to protect the kids involved. So we don't know exactly what went down or why Tess was allowed to stay, but it's clear the Boulder County District Attorney's Office was against the idea. They were worried that moving her to an adult prison might actually reduce the total time she'd serve. So in the juvenile system, there's no such thing as early release for good behaviour or time served.
Right, okay.
Again, this is America. I don't know how it is here.
Okay.
You do every bit of time the judge hands down, but in the adult system, you might get parole or your sentence could be cut short for good behaviour.
Okay.
So it might seem unfair to some people, and I get it. So take two kids, one sentenced at 16 and the other at 17, both for the same crime. The younger one might end up serving 4 years, while the older one only does 3. But that's because they have to be released by the age of 20. So it's by the time they reach the age of maturity.
Wow. Okay.
So on one hand, more time in a good rehabilitation program could really help a kid turn things around. But on the other, if the kid is set on not changing, they're just going to ride out the time and walk out the same as they went in.
Wow. Gosh.
But the adult system works differently. It's all about incentives. So inmates know that if they follow the rules, they might get out early. And Tess, she played that game.
Okay.
In April 2010, Tess appealed her sentence, hoping to get some leniency, but her conviction was upheld. Not satisfied, she took a case all the way to the Colorado Supreme Court in August of the same year. But spoiler alert, it was denied again. Tess wasn't backing down. I've written this like a story, for fuck's sake.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Fast forward to April 2019, Tess came up for discretionary parole. So what that means is essentially a member of the parole board would interview her, review her records, and decide if she should be granted release on probation. Tess wrote a heartfelt letter to the parole board telling them she wanted to find a good job and join a good church to help rebuild her life. You know how it goes. It always comes down to the big faith to win them over.
I was going to say, just throw religion in there
Boom.
and they'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
So she chose Red Rocks Church. I didn't look too much into Red Rocks Church, but she basically swapped out a band of misfits, like Insane Clown Posse, for a church of misfits. I think, there's a lot of kids that have committed crimes and stuff that go into that church, maybe. I really should have looked into that.
That's okay.
And apparently she has kept... so she was released in 2019 after serving just 12 years of her 23-year sentence.
Oh, my God.
And apparently she has kept her nose clean since then.
I mean, yeah, but she still didn't serve the sentence for her crime, though.
Yeah.
So she hasn't paid her debt to society.
No. I'm sorry, she may not have wielded the knife that ended Linda's life. That rhymed. But she
had the intention to do it.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I've just seen there's a list on the computer and it's got 1,000 grams of mushrooms.
What?
What were we making?
Oh, I thought because Goobs looks up things on Google for us and he'd put in Red Rocks
mushrooms.
Church.
I need a break from these two derps.
I thought you were on about it was on the Red Rocks Church website, like some sort
They grow mushrooms.
Yeah. Right, what you need to do is...
So meanwhile, Jared Guy got arrested a few days after test and he was at a school dance. Reportedly. Bit of an embarrassing spot to be in, really.
Yeah.
But by then he was sort of no longer a minor and he faced charges of being an accessory to murder and tampering with evidence. He saw through Brian's lies about the murder, that it wasn't self-defense or anything heroic, which he kind of figured out initially anyway. Brian had manipulated him into becoming an accomplice after the fact. So Jared made a smart move. He struck a plea deal. His plea deal, sorry, I just dropped that. Plea deals fucking everywhere. He pled guilty to the tampering charge and agreed to testify for the prosecution. His sentence ended up being 6 months of work release, 6 months of home detention, and 3 years of probation. So basically, he spent half a year in jail, but was allowed to go to work during the day and then return to jail at night.
Okay.
So we have something similar here in the UK. Very low category of security for that prison. Obviously, still security, but it's people usually sort of misdemeanors. Right at the end of their sentence. Okay. So they get, they very well behaved. They get to go out to work and they get to come back at night. But they have to come back at night. Yeah. Otherwise, it's known as absconding rather than escaping because they're allowed to leave.
Right. Okay.
And you get people that can go on day release and higher cat prisons as well.
Okay.
But they have to come back so they can go and see their family.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. He went to work. He came back. Then he got to live at home with an ankle monitor, and then he would have the 3 years probation. He did end up violating his parole and ended back in prison for 7 weeks. I don't quite know what he did.
Okay.
So parole and probation are both forms of supervision conditioned by good behaviour. If you mess up, you go back to prison. Probation is part of the sentence handed down by the judge. So it can come with or without jail time.
Right.
So you could be sentenced to just 3 years probation. So you're checked up on still.
Right, okay.
Rather than actually serving within the prison itself.
They just keep an eye on you.
Yeah. So it's part of a prison sentence. It's just where you carry out that sentence. And there's always sort of restrictions. They're very, very tight.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're sentenced to 12 years in prison and then put on 5 years probation, you're looking at 17 years total.
Okay.
But in the juvenile system, you can't get out early for good behavioural time served, as I said. So the judge's sentence is pretty much fixed. On the flip side, parole is granted by a parole board after you spent some time behind bars. If they think you've been rehabilitated and behaved well, they might let you out early, but you'll still need supervision for a number of years and might have restrictions during your parole period.
Okay.
So the whole point is to help integrate offenders back into society whilst minimising the risk of reoffending.
Okay. Sorry, I was listening. It's just
I know.
Reg came into the room.
I wanted
and
to look, but it's like
distracted.
I don't know what my next notes are. So I'm like side-eyeing.
It's so complicated, isn't it? There's an awful lot of variations of everything.
Yeah. And, quite often it's during those probation times that people then do tend to fuck up again and get back.
Yeah.
Or, particularly if parole's or probation is for a long time afterwards.
Yeah. And then, slip-ups set them back.
Back to Jared Smith, who helped load Linda into the car after the murder. He was charged with being an accessory to murder, but as a juvenile offender. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 2 years in juvenile detention, followed by 6 months of probation. He was released in April 2004.
Okay.
Linda had 3 dogs.
Oh,
No. No, it's fine. After Tess, Brian and Jared were taken into custody, the dogs were handed over to the Humane Society. One of the dogs was terminally ill, and after being fostered, so he did get a little bit of time in foster home, he had to go to sleep. So it's a sad reminder that even in the chaos of all the human dramas, the innocent lives, human or animal, can be deeply affected.
yeah.
But for a little silver lining in the dark story,
Thank God.
one of Linda's dogs was adopted by a friend of hers who later opened a llama reserve in Longmont, Colorado. This pup did do well in his new home, but it was clear that he'd been through a lot. He seemed a bit sad, like he'd seen too much. But despite the trauma, he lived a good life surrounded by love and care. The other dog didn't have it so easy. He bounced from home to home, never really settling in, and was clearly stressed out by everything that had happened. Eventually, he was placed in a new home where he arrived despondent and sad. But then something incredible happened. He met the other dog living there. They had a little bit of a sniff-off. Tail started wagging like crazy. Handles were going. And it was like a light switched on. Turns out the 2 dogs were brothers.
Oh my God, no way.
Linda's friend, who'd already taken in the first dog, heard about the situation and decided to reunite the siblings. So in the end, Linda's 2 surviving dogs got to be together again. I just spat everywhere. I'm really sorry. Do you reckon the camera saw that?
I don't know if you've told everyone now,
Yeah,
anyway.
it's fine. DJ Dribble back in the house. The 2 surviving pups got to be together again, living out their days with a familiar face by their side.
Do you know what? I was thinking that. I was like, that's probably why they're so sad, because they're apart. Oh, I'm so glad they got back together.
So they got back together, and I'm leaving it on a happy note for those 2.
Oh, poor Doogie Bears.
That is the story. Well, the second part of
It's a lot,
Tess
isn't it?
Damm and the murder of her mother, Linda Damm.
Damn, Tess.
Damn, Tess.
Fucked up, mate. Absolutely fucked up. Shit, I just want.
But yeah, no, I really wanted to end on the happy note with the Dougals because we love a happy ending for Dougals.
We do. And Reg came in right at the end.
Don't care about the others. Obviously, I care that Linda lost her life.
Yeah.
But don't care about the fucking teenagers that did all of this. I care about the Dougals.
As long as the dogs are all
Yeah.
right.
And I care that Linda got laid to rest.
Yeah.
Properly.
Bless her heart.
Yeah.
God, it's just awful, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I mean, well, seeing as you ended that on such a nice note, a positive note, should we go straight into random facts? Are we doing Get in the Bins for normal episodes, or are they just for Spooky Chat? I can't remember.
I think they should just be for Spooky Chat.
So, random fact. Would you like me to do the one that is connected to all of us for this one and save your ones for others, or do you want to go ahead and have random facts? It's up to you.
Oh, he's typing. He doesn't have one.
He doesn't have one, so okay, you can tack onto mine then. And
I'm nervous.
why?
I don't know. I don't know what you're going to say.
Oh, it's not that good.
Oh.
It's just that. So anyone who's listened to other episodes will know the situation with Mudflap.
She brought it up.
I did bring it up. So this is a random fact. You probably know it, but I'm going to tell the listeners. There is a character in Bob's Burgers called Mudflap.
There is.
Yeah.
I fucking love Bob's Burgers. Do you know how much I love Bob's Burgers? Fucking Jean, Tina, and Linda are just live.
Fucking amazing.
I really need a Bob's Burgers t-shirt.
Right. And I want the pink ears as well.
That Louise has,
yeah. Louise has. But I just
We've got
thought
black ones.
That was we do.
Yeah,
I
put it stick up.
That was a good random fact that actually kind of connected all of us.
Yeah.
That there is a character called Mudflap in Bob's Burgers.
Fucking Mudflap.
You are fucking welcome.
Flap, flapply, flap, flap.
No. Why do that?
Because I can.
Because you can.
And there's nobody
To
stopping
be fair,
me.
I drew it up. I brought it up.
Yeah, you
so
did.
it's my fault. So if you've got any spooky stories, we're not getting any new ones at the minute. And we
need to collate them. Yeah, come on. We need enough so that we can do an episode about you, for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've actually got some really good ones, and there is enough for one episode.
Okay.
But it would be really nice to be able to do it as
To be honest with you,
thing.
perhaps we could do that and it might prompt some people.
Okay, maybe we do that then.
We just do it as a random one-off episode. I know Nathan from Mental Health Car Club, he has one. But I don't know whether we'll save that for when we get him on the show or not.
Okay, well, I mean, that might be a while because we don't have the technical setup for that yet.
That's true.
But yeah, that would be good if he could tell us that when he talks to us.
Yeah. There is some exciting news for cars, though. I've been talking to someone that could potentially be helping us do something. Fuck me, that was terrible. There could be something in the pipeline next year for the podcast.
Amazing.
That I'm trying to organise.
Go for it.
Mark's been shitting himself about it already. He's like, how do I do that?
He's all right. I have full faith in him.
Oh, absolutely. He'll smash it.
Fine.
He's goober.
So, all right. So we decided we will do an episode of Listener Tales.
Yeah.
Because we have got enough. Okay, that's great. We'll sort that out soon.
And they all Toms.
No, they're not actually all Toms. There's a good selection, and there's one from Jane from Most Haunted as well.
Oh, amazing.
Is it called Most Haunted? Help My House is Haunted. No,
oh my God.
Apologies. Most Haunted is something completely different. Help My House is Haunted.
Oh,
So, okay, so that's cool. So we'll do one of those episodes. In the meantime, if you've got any spooky stories, it doesn't have to be connected to cars.
All true crime stories.
Or
just weird.
Just anything.
Anything weird.
Have you seen cats in backpacks? Is there a dog in a pram near you? Did you once see a man just jump up a tree and sit there on the branch whilst you were walking through? These are all things that happened to me. Let us know.
I've got questions about the man jumping up into a tree with a backpack.
I've already told that story. No, he didn't have a backpack.
Oh, did I just mix two together?
Yeah, you did.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
You were making it more interesting. The man had a backpack with a cat in it. There was a dog in a pram and he ran up the tree. That's not what happened, but that's a cool story, bro.
I love that.
Cool story, ho.
Cool story, ho. Tell it again.
So we have got Instagram, which I've totally neglected this week, and it's at Cars of the Macabre.
Yes. If you do want to share a story with us, you can do so at carsofthemacabre@gmail.com. That's really handy.
Tell them that.
Most importantly, let us know if we can use your name.
Yes.
Yes. Saves us sort of having to email you back to say, can we use your name?
Time for that.
We want to hear from you.
We really do.
If you've got podcast suggestions, episode suggestions, please send them through.
Absolutely. We're also still waiting for someone to suggest a name for our fans. Yeah. We haven't had any suggestions yet. If you do have suggestions, it's probably easier to just Instagram them or email them.
Message it. We're not going to be called the Mud Flappers.
Mud Flappers. That's actually
not us, even our flans. Who wants some flan? They can be flans.
Yeah, okay.
If you want to be a dessert.
Yeah. Make sure you like, subscribe, download, share, comment. Because
I like to read them. I do read them.
Just tell people about the podcast.
Yeah, word of mouth is the best way to get around.
Amen.
We're on TikTok.
We are on TikTok. That was the other one. And that's at Cars on the Card. We're the same on everything.
Yeah.
Which is helpful.
YouTube, again.
Oh, yeah, we're on YouTube as well.
That's why we filmed this.
That's why we're filming.
Part of me does regret starting YouTube because I have to get ready.
Thing is,
I say that. I've done the bare fucking minute. I got dressed today.
Well, as it's starting to get cooler, we're willing it to. We can just wear tracksuits.
I can't wait.
I'm just all for that. I'm just too hot to wear a tracksuit at the minute.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, I'm a very comfortable temperature now.
Okay.
And I've got a woolly hat on and a hoodie and jeans.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So a massive thank you to Goobs, so Mark at Pot Lane Studios, who does all the sound. He's looking
And
after
the video,
Reg.
yes, his assistant Reginald.
He does video, he does sound. He's in charge, basically. He's the
And
boss
that's just
man.
Reg.
And that's just Reg. So thank you very, very much. He's not in charge of the content. Disclaimer,
Yeah.
because, you know, he can't control that.
Makes us sound professional even when the content isn't.
Exactly.
That's his tagline.
Yeah.
I think that should go on your studio
Subheading and a t-shirt.
profile.
Or a
Yeah.
mug, or both. Oh. Reg is falling asleep on Goob's lap and it's very, very cute. So until next time,
Stay spooky, bitches.